I played yarn chicken. I lost. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Kazzalistic. So today I thought I would do something a little bit different from a yarn haul, just to give you a break and mix it up a bit, try and keep it a little bit interesting. So today I'm going to be showing what technically is a completed project for me, but actually is just granny squares to you, and I will explain why in a moment. I just want to send my apologies out to Juliet. Thank you for pointing out that some people have bird phobias, and I do apologise to those of you who perhaps are bird phobic. I think because I've grown up with birds as well as other animals. I'm more of a dog person, believe it or not, but we haven't got any dogs here, unfortunately. I forget that some people are actually very frightened of birds. So from here on in, I solemnly swear to make sure I put in the description if Chip is in the video and at what point she comes in or out of it. If she's in it from the start, you'll see it in the, obviously in the thumbnail, but if she goes out of it, I will put that Chip leaves at such and such a time. So that's what will be happening. But at the moment, as you remember last time you saw Chip, she was somewhat moody, and she has now laid 3 eggs since you last saw her. She's been a busy girl. So she's currently sitting on her eggs. So apart from the odd pecking noise or maybe the odd chirp if she feels like it, you won't even know. She's in the cage beside me, so you probably won't even be aware that she's there. But just in case you hear a odd squeak or something, that's why. So Chip probably won't be around for at least 2-3 weeks. So those of you bird phobic, you're going to get a break. This happens on a regular basis. As I've said before, she's a prolific egg layer. She doesn't lay as many as she used to. At one point she laid 19 in a row and got egg bound, and she nearly died, and had to have an operation to have it removed, because when you get egg bound, the shell goes soft and it gets stuck inside them, and it causes basically blood poisoning. So she survived one instance of that, and we've done lots of tricks and tips. So if anyone has got had egg bound birds, wants any tips or tricks as to how to actually try and keep your bird healthy, I'm not saying that we've cracked it yet, but we've got some things that we've done that have helped and actually have slowed her production rate down. Anyway, that's enough about Chip, because you're not here really. Well, maybe you are, I don't know. Some of you might be here to see Chip, but I know some of you definitely aren't, so I'm going to crack on. So today it is about Woolly Hugs, the charity. I have mentioned them before. They're a UK based charity, and I have been working on something for what is known as the Kinship Hug project. And that project is very much like the main Woolly Hugs blankets, which normally go out to bereaved families and people that are in very dire situations that need some comfort. The Kinship Hug, I'm just looking at my tablet to make sure I get the information right. So the Kinship Hugs are basically, the charity is asked from time to time to help families and individuals within our own Woolly Hugs community going through incredibly difficult, bleak and sad times by sending them a blanket full of love and comfort. So basically that's what I've been working on. The yarn was donated by somebody from the Woolly Hugs charity. A lot of the Woolly Hug projects, certainly the blankets where you make squares towards it for them to be joined by another volunteer. So basically lots of crafters make squares, somebody gets sent all the squares together with some joining yarn, they then block them so you don't send it in blocked, so it saves me a job because I hate blocking. And the only thing you have to do is weave in your ends. Anyway, the person that receives all the squares will then join them, put them together. So both the yarns that I'll be showing today, well, there's no yarn left apart from these little bits, are both Starcraft Special Double Knit, 100 gram balls they were. They are both 295 metres, 322 yards. The first colour is this one. It's kind of a purple colour, Lobelia I think it is, Lobelia, and it is shade 1825. And the other one is this. It's kind of like a dark turquoisey greeny colour, and the shade is 1829, and it's called Empire. And I just thought I'd share a little quirk that I've started doing just recently. Whenever I use a ball of yarn up, I tie a piece of the yarn to the ball band, and I then put a little piece of blue tack on the back and attach it to a piece of paper and keep it in a folder. So I then have a record of what the colours are. So should I want to use a purple, but I don't necessarily want this shade, I can go back and say, oh no, that wasn't the right colour purple to match my decor or a top that I want, or whatever you're making, blanket weather. So it gives me a reference point, and I know the exact colours, what kind of tones they are, what will go, what won't. So that's something that I've started doing, so you will probably see more of those as my videos go along. So I'm just going to crack on as quickly as I can. So the first two squares are a Bella Coco recent tutorial. It's not coming out terribly well on camera, but in the middle there are hearts. So I've basically reversed the colour, so the Empire is in the middle of that one and on the outside of that one. I'm going to show it on this one because it's slightly easier, but if you can see, there's an outline of a heart, which is part of the granny square, and that is a Bella Coco tutorial that went up very, very recently, I think in the last week. So quite enjoyed doing that. There were quite a few ends to tie in, but apart from that, it was good. The next two that I've done one of each colour, which obviously most of you will be familiar with, is a solid granny square. Again, this is a Bella Coco pattern. The heart one I've just shown you, and these ones are the first time I've ever attempted a solid granny square or a heart one like that. So it's been a learning curve, and I've quite enjoyed them. So I like adding to my skills. So next up are, now I've done two of these the same, and then two of these the same. So I'm just going to show you one, because one of each, and I don't know how well it's coming up, but they are mitred granny squares. I just thought it would make an interesting pattern, and those the pattern for the mitred granny squares is a Jayda Institches tutorial. I will link everything that I'm sharing down in the description box. I actually learnt to crochet via Jayda. I'm a huge fan. She does a lot of origami if you love that sort of thing, but she does do the occasional blanket and sort of clothing type stuff, so it's all good. The next squares I have two in the purple, two in the Empire one, green or whatever you want to call it, and one where I've mixed it up and I've done literally alternate rows. So they're bog standard granny squares. Again, they are Jayda Institches pattern. Of course, there's so many different ways of doing granny squares, but I prefer Jayda's. I find they go very nice straight edges. But I'm biased because she's the one that taught me. So, and the last two are my favourite, although they definitely do need blocking. I'll try and do them separately. So this one is, I hope you can see that, it's actually a dragonfly. The body's here, the wings here. So I've done the wings in the purple, the rest of it's in the Empire, and then I've just put a purple stripe around the edge. And same again, but I've obviously reversed the colours. I think this one I prefer. I just thought that would be really cute to put inside a blanket. That is a tutorial by Fuad Azmat / Yarntopia by Nadia. I'll put the link in the description. She's been doing 365 granny squares, So you can have one for every day of the year, and that was one of them, and it caught my eye. It's a bit fiddly, but I think the result's pretty cool. And the last square, which obviously you saw in the intro, was I tried to do another alternate colours one, and I ran out of yarn. So this won't be going because it's not big enough. So I shall probably repurpose this at some point, not quite sure what with or what for, but yeah, played yarn chicken and I lost. I normally win, but I judged it completely and utterly wrong. So that's all the stuff I've got to share. I just want to do 4 shout outs. I have to write things down because of my appalling memory. So I just want to give a shout out to Amy, which is Amy's Woolly World of Creations. I know many of you may be aware of her, but just in case you're not, go over, tell her hello. She's just recently, I think it was yesterday, put up her most recent video. She's got loads and loads of videos, but go over, tell her I sent you over and say hi. The second one is one that Sian's Crafty Corner has already shared. Her name is Emma Darling. She's very new to our community, so please go across and send her some love. She's done some really good videos already. I know she's got at least 2 up. So go show her some love and tell her I sent you. The next one is I want to give a shout out for Juliet. Her channel name is Pink Butterfly. It would be really nice to see if we could get her over 100 subscribers. She's the one that pointed out that, well, certainly she has a bird phobia, and that other people do as well. So I'm very grateful for that feedback, because unless people tell you, you don't always realise if you're not scared of something yourself. So I just want to say thanks, and please go across and give her some love as well. And the last person I want to give a shout out to is a channel called JonesBluesandJam. She's in America, and she comments on my videos all the time. I do try and reply to you, but there's something in YouTube keeps stopping my replies from getting through to you. Just keeps telling me no. So I don't know if it's the setting on your channel or not, but I thought I'd give you a shout out to sort of apologise for not being able to reply, because I do try and reply to all my comments, because I think that's very important. Anyway, that's it for today. Obviously I'll link everything below, everything I've talked about today, so you can find it all. And until next time, remember, happy crafting. Don't forget to give us a like, a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe. Until next time.